Hello and welcome to the Bold Black Girls Podcast. I'm Aries.
And I am Kim.
Howdy, partner.
What's going on?
I've had a wonderful weekend. That's all I got to say. I feel good,
Well, June is my favorite month. So I always believe that great things come from June. And I think it's been a great month so far.
Of course you do, because you had your birthday.
I had a great nap. I was like, let me take this great 38 nap, see what it's hidden like.
Okay.
So taking naps. We celebrated my birthday. We went golfing.
We did. It was fun.
It was fun.
Why do I hear an echo? What's going on over there?
I'm not sure.
I hear an echo when I talk on your side.
I don't hear it on my side.
That's probably what it was. And the microphone was pointed down. Okay. You be doing that. The
gangster. That's how I drive too. So yeah, we went to Top Golf. We had to pivot because we were going to go to the range. And we had to have a flight pivot. So I think I shared this with you yesterday. We were supposed to record yesterday, and I think we were both like, let's just wait. The flexibility and the flow of friendship.
You have to have it.
We makes
talked about it last week.
We did. It just, you appreciate it now more than ever.
Because, let's back up. First of all, your birthday, we were going to go to the range. The reason we didn't go is I'm in the bathroom getting myself together to get ready to go because we were supposed to meet up at a certain time. And then the boys were like, can we just play on our, they already dressed, they're kind of waiting on me at this point. And so they got like, can we get on our scooters and just kind of go back and forth? I'm like, sure, whatever. So they're out there. And they were not out there, Kim, for even, it wasn't even 10 minutes. It was probably 5 minutes. And here, all I hear is LJ coming in first, like, Mom, Marvin hurt himself. And I'm like, Jesus, why, Lord? Why? It's like the worst thing, I think, as a parent. Like, you're like, how bad is this about to be? Like, and LJ's like, and it's to the white meat, Mom. I'm like, Jesus, Father God, no. Like, not one of those. So here comes Marvin hopping in, right? And he's not crying. So I'm like, okay. He's like, and I look down and it is a big it's huge and it is to the white meat. I'm like, okay, all right, because he's not crying. So I'm trying to, you got to keep it.
You don't want him to start crying.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, you're doing great. You're doing good. Let's get over here.
You're coaching.
Yeah, so I get a paper towel because I'm like, it's, when you see that white, it's about to bleed.
You know it's coming.
So I'm like, what you're going to do is just take this and apply pressure until I go get all the real stuff, right? Because I'm like, he's not about to let me clean this the way it needs to be because it's bad and I'm not mad at it. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to, do the Dr. Mom thing. So I get him all situated. He didn't cry. He was like, I took that like a man.
Oh,
that just cracked me up. I'm like, you did a great job. Like, you focus, we stay. Because if you come in here all crying and you probably going to make the blood rush straight to that's what I tell them anyways, whenever they do that. I'm like, you're making smart. All the blood go right to the source because you're just like,
it's releasing.
Yeah. And so I think that really did help him because he was calm because it did not start bleeding like right away. You know how you see that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that is something to being calm in these kind of situations. So LJ was depleted. Like he was like, he'd been waiting on golfing for the last 2 days, so he was like, dang it, like we're not going golfing. Like he's trying not to be selfish, but he can't help it, And I'm like, your brother is hurt. It's an accident, things,
right?
Kind of things happens. This is, we gotta be cool. We're gonna still go. And stuff. And then you were flexible with us because you're like, hey, we can move back the time.
We can change the location.
And it ended up being way better too. Because
it really did.
Yeah. So we got out into the elements a little bit. But it was a pretty protective little bubble they had us in.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. It was so fun. And your boys are very competitive, especially LJ.
Yes, he is.
So it was good to get out there and practice. It was good for them too, because think about it. We all have been in the house since March.
They were so happy. We all had a really good time. It was fun. It was really fun. I had fun.
And I'm willing to explore outdoor activities within reason. And I think that was good.
Because these numbers, out here.
COVID is not over.
Why are people acting like it's over though? Like, I know we got out a little bit into the elements, but like everybody had masks on. The people who were dealing with us had masks on. Like they had a whole little protective little clear thing that they us and the other people. So it was, I feel like, one of the better places, like, and you're outside, you know?
Exactly.
But all people are going to day parties, girl. They was at the day parties yesterday. Like,
where were their day parties?
Sandaga, like some other places that all our regular places that we go to, like places are open, like people are out kicking it. They're going to the hookah lounges. They are going to
the hookah lounge
stuff, girl. I'm like, what are, I just feel like it's this big experiment that's going on. That's like, who can not go out like the long.
Well, I'm glad I had already started scaling back. So that going out, it doesn't even entice me. Things like Top Golf, I'm okay with, but let me tell you, that partying and hanging out, and
I don't even want it. I don't. I'm
gonna keep that same energy though when we open up. Though I will tell you that.
Yeah, because I still feel like we're not opening up for real for a while. This thing is like still going on. The numbers in Dallas are
increasing,
getting up there. Those hospital visits are getting up there. Like, it's still serious.
Right. So when you text me and said we had a concern, I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope it's nothing that requires them to go to the hospital.
Right. And that's why I was like, I said, Marvin, I'm like, you want to go to the hospital?
What he like, say? No. See,
he did that because they know. I'm like, okay, and I did. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of like before being like, all right, you want to go up in there where the coronavirus is?
And see, you would only be able to go with you and Marvin. You would not be able to take LJ.
Exactly. So it's just too much. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm a mother. I know how to do this. Okay, I done been cut and had kids that had hurt themselves before. I know how to fix this. It wasn't like a gash where you would need like stitches. It was clean, like scrape.
Okay.
I know that sounds gross. Sorry.
Well, I don't have boys, so I'm like, I have a weak stomach.
He let me eventually clean it. Like, I used the saline wash that I had already. You gotta have your supplies.
Your first aid kit.
I got the gauze. I got everything you need. You need some water.
You sure do.
Waterproof. I gave him some Tylenol. I'm like, this is a pain reliever.
Nurse Aries.
It's a whole deal. But I'm learning my kids though. I'm learning, like with Marvin, he likes data. So if I say something, if I know I need to do something with him that he's not going to like, I need to kind of pre-game it, and I'd be like, I learned, because I knew I was going to eventually have to put this stuff on it that might burn. And he is so, he's not feeling it. So I was like, before that happened, I was like, well, I think I know what I've been doing wrong with the spray stuff. Like, I'm too close. When I read the bottle, it says, so I have to tell him like what it says, so he understands like this ain't just her going. He
wants the facts before it happens.
He wants like, did you really read that, Mom? Like, that's how he is. He's gonna check it. And so I'm like, it says you have to be 6 to 12 inches away. I think that's really why it burns so much, because I'm all up on it, and it's the truth. So it wasn't like I was lying to him or whatever. But yeah, so then eventually when we got to the point where I knew I was gonna have to do it, he was like, let me see, how far away are you? Are you going to be? It was just so funny. I'm like, man, this is a trip. But it does help me to know that I need to provide him facts. Kind of like the DISC assessment we talk about all the time. Like,
I was thinking as you were saying
what the person needs to make them at ease or whatever.
It's also like the love language, like in terms of you knowing your love language of your friends. You knew my love language. I'm a quality time. Let's spend some time together. And that's what we did.
Right.
So it's knowing your children, knowing your friends. And I think the better you know, the better you can grow.
Amen. I like that. The better what did you say? The
better you know, the better you can grow.
The better you know, the better you can grow. It's funny because you had sent me a text about, what was it about? Recording yesterday? Was that what it was? When you was like, thanks for being flexible?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Because, child, I don't be wanting to do the same stuff you don't be wanting to do. Like, if you have something going on or you tired, it seems like we be right on the same.
We are always in sync. Seems like.
do a thing. I
And
could
we
lay
don't
right
get
back.
upset with each other.
Yes, that's my thing. It's like, I don't have time. I don't know what it is, because it's like whenever someone gets sensitive about something I say or do, like I tried my hardest to have as much tact as possible, as a normal human being. But there are some times where I may just tell a random joke or something, and then when someone picks apart everything I'm saying, I'm like, I don't want this.
Just like you tell me, hey, you need to make sure your volume is turned up, right? I'm like, okay, let me figure this out, because I don't want to be out here and you can't hear me. Let me figure this out. Turn it up. Somebody might get sensitive, like, why she have to tell me like that? Like, just feedback is a gift, right?
Man, but
Feedback
see,
is a gift.
you have to be self-aware for that to be the truth. And that's the whole thing I think that we try to like preach, I guess, is like the more self-aware you are, that's why I can receive certain things from my friends. I'll be like, I know, because I know I'll be acting like this,
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
But if you don't know that and you think that you are flawless, then you're not going to be able to receive criticism. You're like, how dare you criticize
Excuse me?
Right. I'm perfect. And it's like, if you got real friends, they're like, no, boo-boo, you're not. I'm sorry.
This is true.
I take that as a gift for sure. To have you, someone tell me something. I'll be like, oh, tell me. I'm trying.
I want to know, because I won't grow and get better if you don't tell me.
But if you're doing it because you're being sensitive and you're just trying to pick apart every little thing because of your stuff, it's like, I don't want that. I don't want it. Man, I should have made me some tea before we started.
I thought about that too. I was like, darn it, I didn't make me any Aries tea.
Dang.
So I was like, let me just make me a little energy drink. So yeah, we had a good weekend.
What kind
a good week. Avocare.
Oh, the Spark.
Spark. Give me some Spark. I'll get you some next time. I think I need to order some, so I'll get you a bag.
Okay.
So yeah, we had a good golf. Friday was Juneteenth. We actually took off on Friday.
I took off Thursday and Friday.
I did too. So it felt like a great extended weekend. And I hate to see it come to an end. I feel like I need Monday off too.
I know. It feels good. I'm really loving it. I've relaxed all day yesterday. I watched all the Juneteenth programs because they had the Juneteenth family reunion by the NAACP.
Yes.
It was a great program. It was
you told me about that. It was really good.
It was so good. And I was like, yes, we got programming, and it was pretty creative how they did it. Where they had people like just send in videos where they kind of just coordinated them. I don't know what kind of questions they asked people, but people just kind of spoke from the heart on what they felt about us and about Juneteenth and what it represents to them and all that. And there was this one guy that just really captivated me. He's an actor, so I feel like that's a part of his, acting. That's what makes him probably a good actor, But his name is J. August Richards. And it was something that he said. He was like talking about how his family's from Panama, and everywhere he has been where he's met people who are descendants of Africa in different countries, he was like, we are, like, he was just talking about how awesome we are. He was like, wherever we are, we own it. Like, we command it. We do. We engulf it. We innovate. In these spaces, we're artistic. Like, we create.
We are creative. We have to be.
It's like we're connected, to God in that way, of just like, we can just create jazz, hip hop, R&B, like all the things that we've created musically, artistically, and just in so many ways. It really does build the pride in our Blackness. Like, I've always been proud of being Black, no matter all the stories you hear about how horrible things have been. I still take pride in that Blackness. It feels good to be Black.
It does. And I feel like too, being Black, it makes you you have to be resilient. And you have to be strong, and you have to have strength to overcome, because we've overcome a lot, and we're still overcoming every day. Every day, I swear every day I'm overcoming something. If not every day, every week.
And it's like, you would think, that someone would say, well, dang, it sucks to be black. Like, I don't want to be black because it sucks on that side.
I've never said that.
I've never at one time felt that
Me
feeling.
either.
It's like, I'm just like, you know what? And with everything that comes against us, we still, can just be proud of us,
And
who
that
we
was
are.
right. And that was one of the things I think on that NAACP special, they were saying like we still have joy even in the midst of everything that's going on, right? We find a way, whether it's music, it's dance. Those people are out there protesting, and they were out there dancing. Like, who's dancing at a protest?
Comedy. We laugh at everything. We take things that would be
take
serious
the bad and turn it into a comedy.
Exactly. And then we watched the Smart Funny and Black show online.
Yeah.
That was good. And then we watched there was also the Tulsa Block Party yesterday, which was kind of counteractive to the Donald Trump rally he had in Tulsa. Anyways, so and all the shenanigans that was on that program, which I saw the first little piece because it was these two black women up there, and I'm like, what the heck they talking about? And they were looking like exactly what you would call a coon. That's what they was doing. They was just shucking and jiving up there, looking real. I was like, how much did it cost to sell your soul the way you just did up there? They were really, really, really acting up. It was really disappointing just to see them. I'm like, dang, like, and it's two of y'all. Like, there are two people that were willing to get up here and say these words that you could tell you were reading, from somebody else who wrote it for you. And it just was like, ugh, go away.
I was laying, Kiara and I were in bed watching, like you said, the first 30 minutes, and she was like, we couldn't see it, but she was like, they sound black. And so that's when you text me, and I'm looking too. I'm like, oh my God, they are.
And they were just, and I'm like, you're not. Like, you are, but you are, like, you clearly don't connect with what is, like, it was beyond just being like, hey,
show.
And it was beyond being a supporter, just being like, hey, I'm a Republican, blah, blah. Okay, mind your business. That's on you. I'm not even saying that. Exactly. It was the way that they were doing it. It came off very like all the things we complained about the Aunt Jemima and all that stuff now.
There you go.
It was that kind of like spectacle to me, because even the words they were saying about being black, and I'm black, trying to talk about Joe Biden saying that if you don't vote for him, you're not black, and they like, and we black, and I'm like, is that what that represents? You're supposed to be representing, which I hate, because I don't like when a certain person, just because you're black, you're not representing the whole race. Like, you're not representing all the black people. And so keeping that in mind, like trying to be very specific, like, okay, these black women, although to us, they are not representing us, but you might be somebody else's only viewpoint of what, black women, that's how they're looking at us. And I don't like that. Like, I'm like, please don't look at her as a representation, look at them as a representation of who we are. Which that book that we're reading actually calls that kind of thought out, when you look at a race and say, because we're probably the only one that, when you see that and you're like, black people all do this or that, or if you see somebody that does something crazy, you're like, see, black people are criminals. And it's like, instead of just being like, this is a person who committed a crime.
Correct.
They represent the whole black race.
The whole black race.
Because you don't see that with white people or, others would be like,
that's just a bad person.
That's a criminal. Yeah, yep. Exactly. It's not like, see, everybody over there, that's what they, how they do or whatever.
It just takes one person. Oh, well, they're defiant. They're angry. They're this. And it's not all of us. We're not all angry.
Exactly.
I don't even know if we're angry. We're just frustrated and passionate.
Exactly.
And wouldn't you be angry and upset if you had to live this life sometimes and overcome what we overcome on a regular and daily basis?
The lady, did you see I don't know if you saw that video of the police officer, a woman officer who was in line at McDonald's, and they made her wait for her muffin or something, or her coffee or something like that. She was in there crying because she had to wait so long because she thinks somebody gonna poison her food at the drive-through because she's a cop. And Can we have a heart and give these cops a break and everything? And it was just a trip because I said, you know what's funny is like you're in here crying over some food at McDonald's. Imagine being us.
Exactly.
So these little inconveniences that you're having in life, and then you're sad because people are kind of looking against cops right now. So you're feeling away because you are one. And now it's like, I can't handle this for the last couple of weeks. Like, have a heart. Well, how the heck you think we feel our whole life? Like, this is what we've been experiencing for centuries, you know? And so it's just interesting. It's like that kind of goes into that fragility, you know, in that book where it's like, you can't take the same amount, you know, that we can take because we've been used to this our whole existence.
And again, I mean, it goes back to what I said earlier, like it's something daily. And if it's not daily, it is weekly. It is something because I'm going to tell you, it's even tension out here just in the streets.
Exactly.
I'm stared down, you know, just because of I'm a Black woman, because I'm Black. So now you take it out on the whole race with whatever's going on. You just looking at me and I have done nothing to you. I'm minding my own business. Like you're trying to cut me off even in traffic. You driving with privilege.
And it's different views, right? You got, I was laughing. I sent you that little meme that I saw where you know how to do the us and then what they say, you know, it's like us, you know, or me, you know, this, and then the other person says something. So it was a meme that said us, hey, could the police just treat us better? And it said ABC, Black Bachelor, because you know the Bachelor had been getting a lot of grief over not having they had their first Black woman bachelorette, and then they have never had a Black Bachelor. And now Black Bachelor, all of a sudden, right? Now we got Black Bachelor. Starbucks, Black It Up baristas, Netflix. Watch all these movies and shows now because you know they put all the Black movies on Netflix at the time.
The
BLM. Prime, Amazon Prime doing the same thing. Hulu or else because Hulu is doing the same thing. Band-Aid. We got y'all boo-boos, fam. I guess they're back in the Black.
Wait, you didn't send that to me.
I put it in. Well, I think I put it in our little share. It's in the notes.
Okay.
And then it says, let's see, TV. All the cop shows canceled. City, let's paint this road, y'all. That's what everybody putting Black Lives Matter in the middle of
BLM
everywhere. CEOs, listen, y'all, take Juneteenth off. That's on us. I'm like, dang,
Nike.
I wish mine would have did that.
Right.
And then it says us. Okay, but the police, like, let's get back. All these things are okay, great. You've been awakened to acknowledge the things that y'all have done. Ain't Jemima? Okay, we're gonna change the name. We're gonna do all these things. Back to the police conversation.
Back to the police reform, back to the action, back to the accountability and the ownership. Like you can do those little small things, but we need to do something that's bigger and greater that's going to have a better impact for the lives of Black people.
And it really made me think back to like Black History Month, right? Y'all get Black History Month, guys. Here you go. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. You know, you got your go-to names, Harriet Tubman, blah, blah, blah. What we really need to be fighting for, which is something that I've been, you know, kind of mulling over in my head about the schools, is incorporating Black people into American history because we are American history. You cannot tell the story
without us.
American history without us. You cannot. And I really am now in a place where I'm like, you're going to have to send that letter. Like, you're going to have that conversation. I don't know what my power is and all that kind of stuff. But I think as a collective, if we're really saying we want equity, we have to start with really sharing the true story of America, which
I agree.
All the economics you cannot talk about without talking about Black free labor.
Yep. And I'm glad you brought up history because, I mean, you and I have shared this on a previous podcast. I believe that having this technology, it has opened it up for everyone to know what was truly Juneteenth, because a lot of people they just learned of it this year or just within the past couple of years.
And it felt so good to have all of us talking about it and posting about it. And I hope that we continue this every year now, like for real.
I do too.
This is our thing. Let this just be our day, you know? And it was just it just felt good, like, to just have all these conversations going on, simultaneously, and people just acknowledging, who we are as a people, which I'm just proud of all of us for just coming together on this one thing, on this one mind. That day, it was like I felt all the energy. So that was powerful. So I'm still here for that action. Like, we still need to get this stuff corrected. So same thing, I think at all these corporations and all that good stuff too, like, we need to make sure we are staying on task, which is
keeping this same energy
in your company. What are the systems in place that are preventing Black people from wanting to apply or knowing about jobs or getting
hired?
Fair opportunities for being hired. Yes, all of that. So that's a conversation.
Hired, compensated, and promoted.
Exactamundo.
Because you can get hired, but then, okay, from there, are you growing with your other counterparts?
Exactly.
So why are my counterparts being promoted and I'm not?
It's a lot of conversations that really need to take place.
It really it's a lot of systematic issues that they ignore, and I'm hoping that now we're bringing this to the forefront and people are vulnerable in the sense of sharing this and being authentic, that there can be some change to take place. And then we also have to be the change we want to see. So, like, for me, I'm volunteering now for a steering committee because it needs to be someone who looks like me at the seat, right? At the table, because they don't know what that experience is like if they don't have anyone who looks like me.
I did the same exact thing. I'm also, I volunteered for a committee, but I also am very vocal in the fact that I'm not leading anything. I'm here
absolutely not.
I'm an overseer.
Absolutely, I'm being consultative.
I'm being consultative, exactly. Like, I'm not gonna give y'all. I don't have the answers. I'm just going to make sure that I feel like there's representation, period,
and inclusion.
Yep. So that's it. Everywhere I go, anywhere that I'm a part of something where they're asking me to be a part, that's what the role that I'm feeling like I want to take in a nonprofit, in my company, and anything that is asking me to be involved because of my Blackness, I guess, because it's like, just because you're Black don't mean you got the answers. But I know, based on my experience, what I would feel is equitable.
And we can bring our creativity and innovation to the table to assist with providing solutions or developing those solutions.
Amen.
So be open to our creative and innovative solutions.
I love it. Power. It's going to take sharing some of that power. Don't just bring Black people in to be your diversity officer and then they don't have no power to do nothing.
And if you're saying you want equity, you need to share the power.
Exactly. That's where we kind of come to a, little clash there, because it's like, I mean, it sounds great, but I ain't trying to give up this power. So that's kind of where we come to a head. Yep. I think we're leading in the right direction, and I hope that we can just continue collectively to keep this as a focus point.
Absolutely.
Also, today we always record ourselves on Sundays, and so I just wanted to highlight our fathers. Today is Father's Day. Yes. And, Black fathers matter. These are our fathers that are out there. These are fathers to children that are out here being murdered. Not to mention the women, obviously, at an equal rate, the ones that don't get national,
attention.
News.
Yep.
But, in honor of Father's Day, just thinking about how important it is to have that co-parent, that other parent that is in the life of a child. You need both, right? Yep. And just as a, acknowledgement to those of us, or those out here who don't have a father for whatever reason, be it that they may have passed away or they were not a part of your life, you also it's never too late to find those male mentors and people that you can at least just kind of get that energy from. Sometimes you just want some male energy I think it's a part of who we are as people. It's a part of our connection that we need to have, right?
It's the way God made us as well, right?
Yeah, like we'll have our girlfriends and you got your male friends. It's like you need that male energy sometimes just to kind of balance you out. So seek those spiritual fathers and those mentors that you could also have in your life to give you some of that same, guidance. And I'll ask you, Kim, being that this is kind of also around the time when your dad passed away at this time of year. That was kind of a part of the time that you and I started being friends as well.
True.
Because it was a trip. Because it's like your dad. We had met, we had connected. We were for probably a couple months, and then
because we went to brunch and. We were. I think we kind of connected at around April, around Carolyn's birthday. We all hung out. Then we went to a brunch, and then I think I came back from picking Kiara up, and I was like, my dad died.
And I was just like, okay, I just met this girl. Like, how like what do I need to do? And this is also in the time I'm telling you, I was like, I was just kind of really, you were like my first real like friend that I was kind of letting into that space. So I'm like, okay, I just want to let her know like, hey, I'm here if you need anything, whatever. And just reaching out, and stuff, because I know that could be super hard. And so knowing how close you are to your dad, how you always talk about y'all, him and doing your bubble baths and stuff like that. How do you feel like your dad has shaped, you as a woman? Just at that point in your life, obviously he had been sick and stuff, right?
Right.
So
he shaped me in so many ways because, I have a daughter. So not only was he there for like me and my mom, but he stepped in for my daughter, even at that old age. Because of course my dad was, I told you, 10 years removed from probably being a slave. Even through his sickness, he still managed to like do whatever he could. And I'm like, this man is sick with cancer. And so now I feel like it's a good and a bad thing, because I look at men different. I'm like, if my father could have called me like on his deathbed to tell my mother, hey, call her and see how she's doing. He's the sick one. I should, it's me that should be calling.
He worried about his baby.
He was worried about his baby. And I'm thinking now, I'm looking at certain men like, if you're not a good dad, here my dad is laying on his deathbed, still checking on me.
Right. You were top of mind.
Yep. And so when I was going through my sickness too, it was like I channeled my dad's strength. Like, I got to push. Even though I don't feel good, girl, you better get up and go do it. And so he made me stronger. And I never knew, like, when he was in pain, I would say, hey, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Trying to stay strong for you.
Yep. He would never admit when he wasn't feeling good. But I could see it because I knew him. But he gave me strength. He made me such the strong person I think that I am today.
I think that's the value too of that male kind of energy. That was actually the thing that I thought of when I was thinking of this question, because I said, my dad always treated me like I could do anything. And it wasn't like for a girl.
Right.
It was just raw. My daughter's smart. My daughter is fast. She's, she can be anything she wants to be. And he really believed that. Like, I believe that he believed that. And it made me believe that about myself. So it's like when I tell this story all the time about, like, I would be in the house and my dad would be outside and the boys in the neighborhood, everybody knew each other on our block. And they'll be out there racing or doing something. And he'll just go out there and mess with them and be like, my daughter could beat all y'all. And they'll be like, nuh-uh, your daughter, she's a girl. She can't. And he'd be like, Aries, come outside. I'm literally in there playing with dolls or doing something, making up dance routines or something. And I'll be like, what? And he's like, come out here. You about to race these boys. I'm like, okay.
And like, you would do it.
And I go out there and I smoke them. And then I'll be like, am I done? He'd be like, yep, you can go in the house. And he just so he could talk trash. Now you see where LJ gets it from.
Yes.
Just so he could talk trash. But to him, it was like, he never distinguished, like, as a girl, like, he didn't have no prep talks with pep talks with me about being a girl and not being able, none of that. I think he just genuinely was like, I was his something to be proud of. And so it made me always just feel like, what?
I
Like,
could do it.
who's
And
next?
that's in
Like,
you. I could see that in you right now. And that's like how you take life.
I literally, and I have all boy cousins on my dad's side. So it was my grandmother. She had 5 kids, 1 daughter, and all boys. And then all of her children had all boys, and my dad was the only one with a girl. So
What?
I'm the only granddaughter. I'm the only, so even with my boy cousins, I was the 6th man. I was the, the
I
one.
didn't know that.
Yeah. So standing in as like the playing football, like I played all the sports. I climbed trees. I did all the things, that they were doing.
Yes.
It was no distinguishing between us, that way. So it's a trip because I now that I'm thinking back, I think back on, I'm like, that did shape me as a woman,
That
like just to
did.
feel like, okay, like, and I'm not the type that's like extra feminist where I'm like,
Right.
I can do exactly the same thing, that this man can do. But once we're at a point of like, if it's not physical, I do feel like I can do anything. I really
Yep.
do believe that if we both get taught the same exact thing and we're in head to head, I'm like, there's nothing that you have that's more of an advantage than what I have.
Right.
If we just going straight brain,
I love it. Yes. And I think that's probably why we're bold.
I do believe that. I do. And
Because
that's why I said it's not too late, because I do think that God uses these things to help us just get through certain things in life, or he creates this story, where we have this relationship, and some that may not have the relationship with their own biological father, but seeing where you can have that in other people and other places, and ultimately with God, right? Like
I
he
agree.
is the good father, right?
He is. I mean, we have our earthly fathers, but our God, our Father up above is the main one. And I think about like what you said, even if you don't have your father, you're learning something from him.
Yes. One way or the other, whether you're learning what not to do or seeing some flaws there that you may just need to come to grips with. I remember seeing a video, I think it was like Iyanla or something like that from a long time ago with DMX. And he has a son that really was like really challenging DMX to be like, you better do these things or else like I'm not gonna be in your life or something. And I was just like, that seems like so difficult, to me, because I'm thinking just as a child, like your parents are just who they are and you are their child. So like to just love them even in their flaws and recognize that, dang,
Unconditionally.
they're struggling or they really didn't get this lesson well in life, and this is where they're at, and just kind of knowing that, I don't know, I'm just that person that kind of looks, I like to try to give people a break if I can, and be like, look at how they were raised, like they're getting it because their parents wasn't,
Exactly.
doing what they needed to do for them or whatever. So I don't know. I think it's always a way you could find something to learn, because I know I've learned from people that were not, necessarily doing the right thing. So
You can learn from anybody, and even
yes,
if they aren't there, but respect your father, because they say honor your mother and your father,
and
right?
you have long life. Yes,
Even
exactly.
if they're good or bad, respect them for who they are. Doesn't necessarily, try and have a relationship with them, but if it's toxic, you might have to limit that relationship.
Yep, yep. And that's why I just, I always go back to God, because I'm like, he is the ultimate. When your mother and father forsake you, I'm there. Like that is his word. So I think trying to build that up will help you to have the, be able to forgive and to honor, appropriately, and all that. So we just wanted to give a little highlight to our dads who we look up to and put on that pedestal, I know
Yes.
I do, even with his flaws and all that. Like I'm trying to translate that into my regular relationships, because I can accept my dad with his flaws, but I have struggles when it comes to other
And that's
men.
funny. We talked about this on the friendship. Like, you can accept certain things from your friends and your parents, but why can't you do that with the mate,
I don't
right?
know. I
Because
don't.
they're not perfect either. So I think it's giving patience and grace, because I don't necessarily remember seeing my dad doing any bad, but sometimes you have those blinders on where you don't see that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my dad can do no wrong. Like, I'm a true daddy's girl. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't do anything wrong in my
It was
eyes.
everybody else.
Yeah, it was you. It wasn't him. But he wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
He wasn't perfect. None of us are. So
yeah, I think that's also a lesson, you know, for some of us who do that, right? We put them on pedestals, and I had my awakening multiple times when I realized, like, okay, I know that I was seeing the flaws and just acting like they weren't there.
just
But
ignore
also
them.
when I really was like, girl, you know, but guess what? You love him anyway. You love him through that. You continue to do that. And that's something that I do want to translate over into other areas of my life. I really do want to get better at that. So I'm trying to glean from that lesson of something that you see you can do it. You can do it with other people in your life. Like, you know, practice that. So
keep that same energy.
Exactly. Anywho, all right. Well, we're gonna just end it here. We'll be surprising you guys. Well, I guess not surprising, but we're putting another little bonus episode out coming up this week or next week, I think.
Next week.
Anywho, so go to boldblackgirls.com, please, to get your Bold Black Girl t-shirt and to check out the YouTube. We put those episodes on our website. Rate and review, subscribe, all that stuff wherever you listen. Write us a little review. Let us know if you like our episodes, and if you want to hear something special or have a guest or something like that you want to hear about. What else? What's called to action, Kim?
Have joy in these times. Honor your father, you know, even if they aren't in your life. Yeah. Honor them and find some joy. I think that's one of the things that we need to focus on kind of going through this revolution is finding joy.
Yeah, and it's feeling real, you know, it's feeling like it's really happening. Like it's happening. The revolution has started. It has started.
In the words of our girl Kiara Shear, it's happening.
It's happening. It is happening, you know, because you're seeing it, right? Just that weekend of Juneteenth, like for me, that was joy. I was like, yes, we're all with one accord right now. We're just loving our blackness. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna just talk about us, and that's what you gotta do. Find something that you can enjoy.
And speaking on that, the other call to action is like, no, we didn't learn about this in school. So imagine all the history we don't know. So dig deeper. Dig deeper and teach our kids so that they know where they come from and the struggles. So we know what we're fighting up against.
Yeah, exactly. And register to vote. Please make sure you are registered to vote. I think that's something I'm going to add something on our website that has a link for that as well. Make sure you are registered to vote. We have to get out. This is a zero tolerance of not voting and staying at home this year. We cannot do it. We cannot afford it. We need everyone to get out there and take some action. We may have to start instead of going to happy hour on a Tuesday night, we may have to be meeting up at the city council meetings from now on as our happy hour. Okay,
I agree.
That is something that it was on my heart this morning. Like, okay, Aries, it's time to go back to the meetings. You know, just to start listening and learning. They're pushing, passing laws and passing ordinances and all these things, and it's only by whoever's in the room. It's not even. It don't even take that much, right? So let's start listening and learning what is happening in our communities, what's happening in our schools, what kind of things they're pushing at the school board meetings, another, you know, meeting that we may need to start going to, and things like that. So
I agree. Forego the happy hours because this is our future that we have to be worried about with our kids.
It's time to focus in and like really, really learn this stuff. So, all right, y'all, we love you and have a bold week. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.